Today we will discuss about a relationship between ER stress and obesity. How this obesity can cause ER stress, and this ER stress is something like a protective action taken by the cell to prevent the cells from getting stable conditions to the unstable state. So in the obesity, what happens in general case is that people eat more nutrients that is required by the cells. So in that case, when the more nutrients are there in the body, the cells will produce more proteins. And since the production of proteins is more than its capacity, then it will cause more of the unfolded proteins within the endoplasmic reticulum. And increase in the unfolded proteins within the endoplasmic reticulum will create several problems, such as it will create ER stress. And we have discussed that whenever the ER stress are created, it will trigger unfolded protein response. And in this unfolded protein response, it works in two different ways. First is that it will do the epigenetic changes, or transcription factors, transcriptional changes occurs in a way that it will reduce the insulin, it will cause insulin resistance, or it will reduce the protein that are related to the insulins that is shown here. It will cause insulin resistance, so it will try to reduce the load from the cells. At the same time, it will increase the proteins that can help in the proper folding of the newly translated proteins in the endoplasmic reticulum, such as chaperones. And these intercellular chaperones in the endoplasmic reticulums are some of the intercellular chaperones in the endoplasmic reticulum are calreticulum, calnexin, and they form a complex with this PDI-A3, which helps in the proper disulfide bond formations of the glycoproteins that are translated within the endoplasmic reticulum. And because so these things try to suppress the ER stress. However, there is other way also. The ER stress can be reduced is by increasing the number of proteins that takes place in the degradation of the protein. And these proteins are categorized in the category as this ER associated protein degradation, or ERAD category. So it will increase the proteins that are in it will increase the translation of the proteins that are involved in the degradations of the unfolded proteins. And simultaneously, this UPR will release cytokines related to ROS, and it will trigger apoptosis. And in order to trigger apoptosis, it will upregulate the proteins that are involved in the apoptosis pathway, such as caspase that forms a complex with C12, 4, C9, C3, and all of this will cause all of this will cause all of this will cause epigenetic changes in a way that cells tries to restore its steady state position. And one of the main reasons that occurs that is ER stress occurs is because of this obesity. There are many other reasons, but the main reasons that is shown here is that obesity can also cause ER stress in a way that obesity leads to the nutrient excess, and it will cause more translation of the proteins in the endoplasmic reticulum that will cause the ER stress within the cells. And this excess ER stress will also cause this CA2 depletion in the endoplasmic reticulum. So one of the function of this endoplasmic reticulum is to maintain the steady state of the calcium within the cells. However, the depletion or the disruption in the homeostasis in the endoplasmic reticulum will disrupt this additional function of the ER, that is CA2 homeostasis, and it will cause CA2 depletion within the endoplasmic reticulum, and that will trigger other problems, such as this reactive oxygen species or increase in the ROS. And so if these things is not been controlled by the cells, then this thing will cause a cascade effect and will lead to the disruptions of the cells and eventually cause the cell death through the apoptosis, or in worst case it will affect the other neighboring cells also. So I hope you have understood the relationship between ER stress and obesity. If you need to understand more about their relations and how this obesity will cause this ER stress and what are the other functions that are triggered whenever the cells are under ER stress, you can go through the reference that has been provided in the description. So that's all for this video. Thank you for your time.